Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Thursday in the Quad Cities. It is.
Let's try that again. Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thursday, September 18th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I do appreciate it. It's one of those Thursdays where everything's going great. We're rocking and rolling. I was actually relaxed and getting ready for the show. And then 10 minutes before the show starts, everything crashed. But we're up. We're rolling. I think we're about 5 minutes late, but better late than never. And we are ready for a great, fun, full show once again here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, shame on you. Do that. Tell a friend or 2 or 10 about what we're doing right here in the Quad Cities. YouTube subscriptions doing very well. So we appreciate that. Also, we're live on X. X is always very good to us. Almost 3,000 people watched the show on X yesterday, which is pretty cool. So if you're watching us on X, we thank you for that. And then the podcasting platforms as well. There's everydayers that are listening to this show every single day on their podcasting platform. So we appreciate that. If it's Apple, if it's Spotify, if it's Podbean, iHeart, whatever you use to listen to your podcast. Check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo each and every weekday right here in the Quad Cities. Good news, Cubs clinch. We're going to talk about that coming up in a little bit. A full show for you once again today. In a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by a good friend of mine who's got a lot to talk about. And it's not just golf. Andrew Lehman from the John Deere Classic. We'll talk some Ryder Cup, but I spend the majority of my evenings counseling young Andrew, whether it's the Hawkeyes, the Cubs, whatever. So good news for both, I think. I figured great time to bring him on with the Ryder Cup next week as well. So Andrew Lehman will be with us in just a matter of moments. Also coming up later in hour number 1, Kedric Prince will join us as we're going to dive deep into this Illinois-Indiana mashup, one of the biggest football games down in Champaign. I know it's in Bloomington, but for the Illini in a long, long time. So we're going to talk about what Illinois has to do to be successful, what's it going to be like for Ked watching, all those kind of things. Can't wait for that. Kedric Prince coming up later on here in hour number 1. In hour 2, Davenport North had a wide receiver last week and a quarterback, Neil Brown, but wide receiver David Joyner playing in his first high school football game as a senior. And he shattered records, 321 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Like I mentioned, his first high school football game. We're going to talk all about it. Where's he been? What's going on? It's a unique, fun story. David Joyner joining us later in hour number 2 of the show. Also, something really cool that I saw yesterday from one of our sponsors. We're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, make me a little hungry around the lunch hour as well. So much to get to. Thanks for being patient and waiting the 5 minutes for me to get up and rolling. I think, knock on wood, everything should be good to go. Reminders, Nest Guess is up and rolling for week number 3 of our Nest Guess contest. If you don't know what Nest Guess is, you're not a Quad Cityan. For 40 years, Mark Nessler did the Nest Guess contest with the Dispatch Rock Island Argus, almost 40 years, like 37. Went away about 5-6 years ago. We got it back here on OTA. It's simple. Head to my social media. Click the link, make your picks, free as can be. Winners get free hobo, a really good food from Hungry Hobo. So it's a no-brainer. Get to my social media. The subscriptions, or not subscriptions, the entries were up last week. We're excited about that. We're expecting them to continue to go up as well. So go get into the Nest Guest contest ASAP. Also, tomorrow we're taking the show on the road. Week 1 of the high school football season, we went to Pleasant Valley. Week 2, we went to Geneseo. Last week, because of pneumonia for myself, we stayed inside, behaved ourselves. Tomorrow we're going to Assumption. Excited about that. Mobile Party Experience will be with us. We'll talk to the Knights. We'll get you set for week 4 of the high school football season, a whole bunch more along the way. So join us tomorrow. We'll take the show on the road. And also Iowa and Rutgers play on Friday night. The Hawkeye Tailgate Show will be 5 to 6 o'clock. I can confirm I'm excited to welcome Josh Sash to the show, which is pretty cool because he'll be at Big Grove with me. New assistant coach for the Iowa basketball team. Obviously also the brother of Tyler Sash, so knows plenty of football as well. So we'll talk with him about being back in Iowa City. The Iowa basketball program, who Iowa fans are very excited about. Andrew Lehman will attest to that in just a second. He's shaking his head as I look down at the monitor. I know that he's always excited for Iowa basketball. So that's coming up 5 to 6 o'clock, Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City. If you can't get up to Big Grove, join us on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Right here in the Quad Cities, it's Vintage 107.7 WQUD. Not to be confused with the place I used to work. WQUD is the call letters for that. So without further ado, I got to figure out my technology as we go. But we're joined by the one and only Andrew Lehman. And Andrew, I'm a little concerned because you're mic'd, you're good. Why are you so... I know you're losing weight, but you're so skinny today. What's going on with the camera?
Well, it's almost like I'm playing hurt. I've tried my computer. I've tried my iPhone. I'm on my iPad. I couldn't get anything to connect. So I don't know if it's your technical difficulties.
What are you on? What are you on a phone?
No, I'm on an iPad that is propped up here on my little standing desk thing. I got a highlighter underneath it to try to level it out. So, anything for you, but you're not the only one with technical difficulties today.
I don't think it's me because we could hear you on your computer, right?
Yeah, but I couldn't get my camera to connect.
But you got that fancy, that's what happens. You got all these fancy devices and you can't do you ever do meetings? I figure after what was it, July 5th, 6th, you probably haven't done anything. Like, have you, the dust went flying off and you jumped on a meeting once? It's been a little while.
I keep a little duster here to get the camera lenses clean but hey, you know what? We're here. Anything for you. And hey, you mentioned Davenport North. It's Adam Height who's the head coach, right?
Yes.
His wife, former intern at the John Deere Classic.
There you go. Look at that.
How about that connection?
There you go. No, wait till you see and everybody watching this. Interviewed the young man last night, obviously, because he's in school. This is live as live can be, and this is why I record things, Andrew, is because you can guard against this kind of stuff if you do some recorded stuff. But talked to him last night. He had never played, so he moved. I'll tell you a little about it. Nobody's listening. It's just you and me. He moved to Georgia in 7th grade, played 7th and 8th grade, didn't really love it, was kind of wanted to focus on basketball, so didn't play. Moved back here late sophomore year, didn't play last year as a junior, and decided to go out this year. Didn't play the first 2 games because of injury. First game on Friday night, ever in high school. 8 receptions, 372 yards or something like that, and 3 touchdowns, breaking all the records. So really cool.
That's getting it done, man.
Yeah,
getting it
really
done.
Good. Speaking of getting it done, the Cubs are in the postseason, my friend. Are you happy? That's something that shouldn't be taken for granted, is it? Oh, look at this. Oh,
see, with an iPad, you can go mobile.
Yeah, look at that. Excited? What was it? Did you watch it yesterday afternoon? Was it like an excitement? I know my boys were pumped up after school, giving high fives. Postseason's a good thing, my friend.
Hey, you've seen this office. You called this office your own. So that TV that sits above the fireplace, the game was on yesterday, and
yeah,
I had thought they clinched the night before because I thought with the Giants loss, the magic number went down to 0. So going into the game yesterday, I was already, we're in the playoffs, but why is ESPN not putting that little Z next to our emblem there? And it's awesome, man. I love Cubs baseball. I've got a 14-year-old son that is just as invested in it as I am. And, it's fun. And having, I got to go in 2016. I went to a division round game. I went to an LCS or an NLCS game against the Dodgers. And then was at game 3 of the World Series at Wrigley. So, the life of a Hawkeye fan, the life of a Cubs fan, and the life of a Chicago Bears fan. Thanks for the beatdown you guys put on us this week. You mentioned that I'm very excited about Iowa basketball. The life that I live with sports, excited probably isn't the word that I use every year. I'm always cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
No, that's what you got to be. You look at the Cubs and when it comes, you mentioned Chicago sports and not being pile on to Bears, but they're the shining light right now. It breaks a 5-year drought, getting in there, the 28th playoff appearance since the National League, and the 12th in the division era since 1969. So, where are you at with this team? I know we've talked throughout the season and we've been excited, we've been pessimistic. It's been a roller coaster ride. I feel like, and maybe I shouldn't, but as a Cub fan, I feel like there's nothing to lose. You have a spot at the table. Let's see what happens. Is that the way you look at it?
Yeah, same mindset. I think that, what do they have? The 4th best record in baseball. They'd be leading a lot of the divisions with their record. I think you look at, obviously, Kyle Tucker has not been playing with the injury. You look at what this pitching rotation could be like if they had Justin Steele. But I thought through the middle part of the season, the weakness was starting pitching. But Cade Horton is putting up better numbers than Jake Arrieta did in the second half post All-Star break in 2015. And let's not forget Jake Arrieta had 2 no-hitters that year, and 1 came post All-Star break. So, to have Cade Horton outpitch Paul Skeens the other day, I thought that was big. But if I'm Craig Counsell, I think you have to not trot Cade Horton out there in game 1. I think he needs to see what a playoff atmosphere looks like before you go. But I'm telling you right now, I feel a lot better about the 3 guys to, be at the top of that rotation in the playoffs. You got Shota Imanaga, who's pitched really well, quality start after quality start. You look at Cade Horton, and then Jamison Tyone has come back and pitched well, and you put Boyd and I don't know, I'm drawing a blank on it's Boyd, and who's the other starter?
I'm drawing a blank too. But go on.
Well, you put those two guys in the bullpen, long inning relief guys, and I'm telling you right now, I want a shot at Milwaukee. Because I don't think the Cubs are afraid of anybody, and they're certainly not afraid of the Dodgers. If they get the Mets, that concerns me a little bit, right? But
yeah.
I really want Milwaukee.
You're not the only Cub fan I've talked to about that. And that's the theme that I've been getting is like bring on the Brewers. I want the Brewers. Andrew Lehman joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, taking the golf hat off for a second, talking Cubs and some Hawkeyes before we talk a little golf. What does it look like if the Cubs are going to win? Like if they're going to have success in the postseason? I've asked this question to a lot of people. Is it like that pitching staff getting hot and pitching well? Is it somehow PCA comes back to life, and he's started to recently, and Seiya, who had 25 bombs at the break, I think he has 27 now. If those guys start mashing, how if there's going to be success, what does the recipe look like?
Well, think back to April through June, and when you got into the late innings, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, where were you going to find 9 or 6 outs in that lineup? And to me, they've started to score more runs here recently. I think the pitching's fine. The bullpen has been really good. I'm not sure. I don't know if Palencia is the guy at closer. He's made me nervous on more than a handful of occasions, but Keller's looked really good. Andrew Kittredge has looked really good, which, by the way, that guy's like 6 or 7 years younger than me. It looks like he's 7 years older than me. But to me, it's going to come down to offense. And, man, Nico Horner, that dude is spectacular. And, it seems like when Swanson's up with runners on base, he's producing. And, Michael Bush has had a rough September, but that dude at the top of the lineup is as good as anybody in the leadoff spot. And to me, I think you just got to go out and play loose and have fun. And PCA, that home run the other day, that had to feel good, right? I mean, it's been a rough 2 months post All-Star break for him, and hopefully you get Kyle Tucker back, and that's a scary lineup. And I think the pitching's good, and I love the addition of Billy Hamilton coming back. Give us a little speed on the bases.
Yeah, no, it's different because the baseball season's so long, Andrew, and you finally can now start looking forward to a postseason, and there's nothing like baseball in the postseason. It really isn't. I know and that's why I think it's probably a chat for a different day and age, but the season's so long. Like, it's so long, and I get it, and I understand it, but now Major League Baseball is competing against, like, college football and the NFL and all those kind of things. It makes it more difficult, but I think it should be fun. Do you have before we move on to the Hawkeyes, a prediction? Like, can they win? Like, where does this thing end for the Cubs?
Oof, man, I wouldn't be.
I think that was.
I wouldn't be.
I think that was the exact quote.
I wouldn't be shocked to see this team make the World Series. I also wouldn't be shocked to see them, out in the division series, where I guess it would be the wild card series. But I think for a mindset, you want to be playing your best baseball going into the playoffs. I think they're peaking again at the right time. And by the way, this was a team that's been really good all year. Milwaukee went on a historic run, 38-2 over 40. And the fact that they, maintained 5-6 games in the division. And I think if you can somehow over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever's left in the season, I think there's 10 games left or 11. If you can keep that number with Milwaukee in the division at 4 or less, to me, it's a mindset thing is, hey, we never wavered. They went on a run and we, hung with them. We won the season series against them. And I really hope they get a shot at Milwaukee because I think Milwaukee's got to want anybody but Chicago.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Like, it wasn't the Cubs not winning the division. Hats off. Like, they played ridiculous baseball for a month and 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and that's the difference in this thing right now. Andrew Lehman joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I joked in the open that, we have some therapy sessions and some chats on the phone and all those kind of things. How are you right now with your Hawkeyes, with the football? We'll start football first. Like, are you excited now? Are you, like, where are you with things?
Whatever it is, it is.
Well, that's not good.
If you, no, I love Kirk Ferentz, and to see that scene play out at Kinnick last Saturday, it's special. I think this is a team that can still do a lot of great things, and I think you saw some flashes last week of, hopefully Tim Lester getting this offense going in the right direction. And therapy sessions is probably right. There's nothing that brings me down in life like a Hawkeye football or basketball game. The Cubs, love the Cubs, but they don't. Playoff baseball is different, but man, you only get 12 football games in a bowl game. Maybe a Big Ten championship game to cheer them on, and there's nothing that can set a 42-year-old, grown baby in a bad mood when Iowa doesn't play well, or at least, up to the expectations that the armchair quarterback over here has.
Okay, let's talk about what are you excited about? What are you concerned about?
You still have to be concerned about the offense, I think. You need consistency there. Getting Reese Vandersee back is going to help that receiving core. Too many drop passes. I thought Gronowski looked a heck of a lot more poised in the pocket last week. His footwork looked better. Again, you're talking to a guy that didn't play football past his sophomore year. So I don't know that I'm an expert by any means, but you always want. And I don't know what the future holds for Kirk Ferentz, if he's going to, continue to coach beyond this year. And you got to be, you and I have talked about this, you have to be really cautious about getting that next hire right, whoever that is, because, we talked about the Steve Alford thing, and I was totally in favor as a 16-year-old kid when that happened. And don't you remember going back to 2001 when there was all the rumors about Steve Alford and the Indiana job, and Kirk Ferentz had just not finished 2001 on a high note. But nobody was in full support of Kirk Ferentz at that point. And he was, succeeding a living legend and Hayden Fry. But what have we had? 2 football coaches in 55 plus years? I mean, that's pretty remarkable. I came away cautiously optimistic after the loss in Ames. That's a slip and a pick away from winning that football game. And yes, Iowa had some breaks go their way with that, the muffed punt that to me, I thought that could have been a penalty. But it wasn't. And I came away cautiously optimistic about Iowa, and I'm hoping I'm leaving today on our exec retreat. And so I'll have to watch the game tomorrow night and I'm not a guy who likes to watch the game with people. So I'm going to have to endure watching the Iowa football game in Chicago tomorrow night with 12 of our either past chairs or board members. And you may see Andrew up in his hotel room for that football game.
The beauty part about the whole thing is you mentioned the slip. You're a weird 2-tipped pass away from 3 and that kind of thing. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think about a replacement for Kirk Ferentz right now because I think he's got 2 or 3 years left in him minimum. So I don't think that way. I think onward and upward and all those kind of things. I do have Josh Sash coming to Big Grove Brewery for the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. So I want to mention basketball for a second. It's coming quickly. Recruiting is on an uptick really, really well right now. I think there's an excitement about this team and energy about Iowa basketball. And I don't know if I know anybody more that loves Iowa basketball than you. I think you're one of those guys. I used to be that way. Where I don't know if I still am. Where like that was my favorite thing growing up was Iowa basketball. How excited are you for Josh Sash and Ben McCullum obviously and what Iowa could be, or the new era, I guess, of Iowa basketball?
Stoked. I'm ready for basketball season. I don't want to wish college football away. I don't want to get through, September and October and be into the winter months. But man, I tell you what, they're not picked to do great things in the conference, but I think this team has a chance to be really good. And I'm with you. The recruiting's great. Just landed, a 4-star kid that had an offer from Gonzaga. So I love what they're doing in Iowa City. And we go to way more basketball games than we do football games. Actually, in recent years, the women's basketball has outpaced men's basketball for our family. And but I think this team has a really legitimate chance to be a tournament team, and that would be a massive success in year one for Ben McCullum and his staff. And I'm ready for basketball season. I think they have a chance to do something special and hopefully get this program back to being a little bit more consistent on a yearly basis.
Let's talk a little golf, because that's kind of what you do. You mentioned going on a retreat. The Ryder Cup is next week. What's your headline going in? I think it's one of the best weeks of golf that there is. What are you looking for? What's your headline? What's your storyline as you go into this thing?
Well, let's see. A vacation day next Friday, so I can stay home and watch the Ryder Cup all day.
Yes.
My wife has continuing education out of town on Saturday, so camped out in front of that TV on Saturday. And I like this U.S. team. I root for the Europeans a lot, quite honestly. I want the Americans to win the Ryder Cup because that's what you want. But I find it hard to root against the European team, and it's almost the same team that the Europeans had from Rome. So to me, Bethpage Black, it's going to be a hostile environment for the European team. There's nothing like a East Coast crowd like that's going to be there. Golf course setup comes into play a lot for Ryder Cup teams. And I think I did read an article about the Europeans, the opening tee shot and the final tee shot. So 1 and 18, how important they are. And the golf course setup perfectly for the Europeans on the opening tee shot. There's a statistic that if you go out and match play and win the first hole, what that, the success rate of that is. So, I've seen some videos of Rory McIlroy taking an aggressive line on one, but this U.S. team is highly untested in terms of a lot of new guys on that Ryder Cup team. You've got J.J. Spawn, Ben Griffin, Russell Henley, Harris English, Cam Young, all making Ryder Cup debuts. And man, what a tough choice that had to be for Keegan not to play, because he had earned the right. And no one could have second guessed him if he said, hey, I'm going to be a playing captain. Ultimately, I think he made the right decision with saying, hey, I'm going to do and put all my focus onto this team. And I'm pulling for the Americans. It will not shock me to see another loss, but I hope that's not the case.
Why do I feel like you're pulling for the Americans, but you expect the Europeans to win?
Look at the last 30 years of Ryder Cup history. Yeah. I don't want to say it means more, but it shows. I mean, the Europeans are a united front in terms of, you think back to all those Tiger and Phil years where you had the best two players in the world on the U.S. team, but you couldn't pair them together. And man, Scotty Scheffler is just on a different level. So, having Bryson be on the team, a live golf guy, I think that's important. But you're going to have to play good golf to take the Ryder Cup back. And, those 15.5 points that they need, those are tough to come by. You don't want to be down 4-0 after the Friday morning session like they were 2 years ago. And they played great on Sunday. They made it interesting on Sunday.
Yeah.
But that 4-0 hole it was just unbelievable. Not where you want to be. And match play is just such a different animal than stroke play.
I'm trying to figure out how you're going to balance this, because you'll have Ryder Cup on Saturday. You'll have Iowa, Indiana on Saturday at 2:30. How are you, is it, and the wife's out of town?
She's out of town. That
Don't
lower
smile.
level.
Don't smile when you say it. Jeez.
Well, she's seeing patients, so she's not tuning into this. And you already said, it's just you and I having a casual conversation. So I can be upfront and honest. And, that's why that lower level has 5 TVs down there. Not as spectacular as yours, but
stop. Not even close. You live. I might find a way to sneak over next Friday afternoon. I might invite myself over after the show on the road. I might come swing by and watch a little bit of golf. With that being said, nobody's listening. Nobody's watching. Nobody watches this. Do we have a concert yet or two? Like, it's just you and me.
It's in the works. Sorry, man. Saturday is the 4th of July. Saturday at tournament week is our country's 250th birthday. So we've got a really unique opportunity ahead of us to, find a creative way to celebrate, that milestone. Fortunately for us, the concert will be over before the UFC fight taking place on the White House lawn that evening. So I don't feel like we're in competition with that.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be fun. And I think we recognize that, Saturday is going to have to be big, right? And the beautiful thing is you can attend golf all day. You can stay for the concert. You're out of here by 8:15, so you can still get to a fireworks show. And we don't have a real strong desire to keep people here on property after dark. It just the logistical challenges of that, trying to get 15,000 people off property. So, it's all in its infancy stages, and we're looking forward to the challenge. But I think you're going to see another great lineup of concerts here next summer, and hopefully we can continue to build upon, the field strength and get as many great players here as we can, and it's going to be fun. But right now I'm focusing on our charity announcement here in 3 weeks, which is going to be awesome. We just celebrated last Thursday. We crossed over 200 million in charitable giving. So we had a gala last Thursday, raised $100,000 for the bonus fund. So it's going to be a great day on the 9th of October when we put all that money back out into the community.
That's absolutely outstanding. Okay, but I'm going to smile if you have a list of 3 names in your head that you are possibilities. All right.
I always smile.
I know. No. There's a lot of times after Iowa football games, you're not smiling all the time. So.
Those texts to you definitely, although they have a negative tone at times, can. And by the way, I'm always smiling. You got to be
here for you. I'm here for you. I'm not complaining one bit. That's my job. As I think it's part of the gig as being the pregame host is to be there for Iowa fans that are frustrated. And that's I'm all ears. Literally, I'm all ears.
When did we lose? It's the last time we lost to Nebraska, and it was at home, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I broke my toe. I kicked the ottoman, and I broke my toe. So, if it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I was still in my 30s. So I'd like to think I've grown up a little bit. I don't. No. I'm past the point of allowing 18 to 22-year-old kids dictate my happiness on a Saturday.
But it happens sometimes.
It happens.
They've never lost to Rutgers. 4-0. Just remember that.
Thanks for throwing that out there.
No, well, it's a beautiful thing. So, all right, well, enjoy the is it all weekend? Who you gonna see? Past is Carpita going to be there?
Oh yeah, they
Rafferty
left this morning. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Bless your heart.
I think we've got our executive team. We've got, I believe, 4 past chairs on this trip. Title sponsor representation, obviously tournament representation. Todd Hyduk is there as we embark on a new contract through 2030.
Yeah.
So there's 13 of us that'll be up in the Chicagoland area until either late Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Oh, well, behave yourselves. Tell Carpita and Rafferty if they need me to bail them out of jail. They know my number. Give me a buzz. I'll come get it.
I would hope that on that 10-passenger bus that they're on their way right now, they've got this show on. So you should have 10 listeners listening right now.
You would think so. Who knows? So, all right, my friend.
I mean, Kevin is a sponsor, so let's go.
A fantastic sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Rafferty, if you're in home. You know what? He's also on the Alleman Hall of Fame committee. I chatted with him yesterday. He's as good as
There
they
you
get.
go.
So, all right, my friend, enjoy it. Thank you for the technology troubleshooting. You look thin today. You always do, but you look thin today, which is a good
Yeah.
thing.
You
So,
know, as I like to say, still a work in progress.
I love it. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Be good.
Thanks, man. Bye.
That is Andrew Lehman talking everything with me. I figured today it's a great day. The Cubs are in the postseason. We got Iowa football to talk about. Obviously, the Ryder Cup right around the corner, and he's right. Like, the Europeans are going to be tough. But it's such a great environment. I love watching the Ryder Cup with my kids to show them, like, this is, especially when it's where it is in the United States and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a heck of an environment. So, next Friday, I'm going to have to find a place to sneak away and watch a little golf after the show. That'll be a lot of fun. So, anyways, we got a lot more to get to coming up on this show. Thank you for the patience with our technology. About a 5-minute delay getting started, which isn't too bad. I'm looking around trying to figure out, like, if I got everything, like, figured out, but I think I do. Hopefully everybody's hearing this. Coming up after the break, it's a huge game. Indiana, Illinois, Saturday night in Bloomington, Indiana, NBC primetime, and we're going to figure it all out and talk all about it with our good friend Kedric Prince right after the break. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. It's a big week of college football, and I can't think of a bigger week for Illinois football than what's going on right now. It's Illinois, ranked number 9 in the country, on the road at number 19, Indiana. Primetime game, NBC. Everybody's talking about it, and we're talking about it here on OTA. And of course, if we're talking to Illini, we're going right to my good friend, Kedric Prince, who joins me right now. Ked, come on. I mean, we're talking about the biggest game in college football this week, and it involves, you can smile, it involves your Illini. This has got to feel great.
You know what? It does. It feels great. And, thank you for having me on again. I've been a guest here before. I hope your Iowa listeners don't get off the air because I'm on right now, but it is different. It really is. I can't believe it. It's like a dream. And one day I'm going to wake up, and I hope I wake up and it's still relevant. This is it's exciting because, Illinois fans have always joked around, it's a basketball school, even though people should really say it's a golf school because they are outstanding in golf. But Brett Bielema has just really just rejuvenated Illinois football. And you know what I've done all week? I've done something I did all week that I've not done in probably 20 years. When I was younger, I used to go to all these message boards and see what fans were thinking, and now podcasts are a thing. So I'm searching all these podcasts, and you get online, and there's tons of them. And it doesn't have to be Indiana or Illinois. There are national people talking about this game and what this game means. And in the big scheme of things, this is Indiana and Illinois, two football teams. And I will say this, Indiana fans are probably going to get mad at me. Illinois has a little bit more history than Indiana, I think, when it comes to football.
100%.
But this is just really, really unique. It's just, it's great. I mean, I love everything about it except for the fact that it's in Indiana, I guess. I wish it was in Champaign, but this is really fun to see. A lot of people are asking me about it. I see people on the street I don't even know. They know me, and they're asking me, are you excited about the game? Then they want to ask me my predictions. So I go to the grocery store to grab something, and I have to sit and have a conversation for 20 minutes about my prediction on the game.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing because that means people care, which is a very cool thing. Kedric Prince joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Ked, there's so many things I want to kind of touch on this morning. But before we get to this game, obviously, and I want to kind of break it down a little bit, I talked to Mike Hakeley on Monday. He was on the show. And then last week, Jim Matson, we kind of chatted. And I don't know if you got $100 million laying around, but like what Larry Geese did and the ability to – that's in today's day of college athletics, Ked, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. Can you talk about your thoughts when you maybe pop onto social media or get the press release that Illinois is getting $100 million? That's game-changing this day and age, is it not?
It is. It was funny you said that. We, as a staff at Illini guys, we talk. We always talk about tiers where Illinois compares to money financially. And we never mentioned Illinois. We were always frustrated because, we could never do what Notre Dame is doing financially or, one of the other top programs or Duke basketball, because the money is just there. The name is there. But when you get that kind of money, I don't care who you are, because Illinois has a lot of famous alumni with a lot of money. I'm telling you that they really do. And for a guy to come out of the closet to just donate that kind of money to a program, to people, to a sports program that he wants to see succeed, it gives Illinois a fighting chance. And I've always said this, and I'm still going to say this. I think with the money, with NIL being what it was, and with the start of that, and then this kind of money, Illinois is able to go out and compete. That's what Illinois has been lacking. It wasn't the fact that the fans weren't loyal; they just didn't have it, and now they have it, if you will. So they're always going to be able to compete. There's a brand. This is how I pay attention to it so much. If there's a commercial on TV or an ad on TV, and I see the Big Ten Network doing an ad, I always look and see if Illinois is going to be one of those schools, or if ESPN does something. Because I'm going to tell you, and I don't blame them, Iowa was always on there because your football program, your basketball program was good. Now I'm starting to see Illinois creep into some of those things, starting to see more shirts and stores, and it's easier to get. So having that money, it's a brand, and it was a national story. It wasn't just some local. I mean, everybody – who got a press release talk about that, from Chicago to New York to California. That's a nice chunk of change. It really is. And I mean, they're very excited and honored about having it.
We talked with Jim Matson, and he said he went to school with Larry Geese, and he said that I said, you picked your friends wrong. Like, what are you doing? If you're going to school with them, you need to be hanging with them. But they have that. Like, there's so many in that school, engineering wise and everything and beyond, that like there are those people, but they have to be motivated to give back. And I think Brett Bielema is a big reason for that, Ken. But I also think, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but Josh Whitman was the right guy for the job when it happened. And I know that football drives everything, but Ked, you joked about golf, but golf, women's basketball, men's basketball, and the football program and baseball going, like that athletic department, and you've covered it for a long time, is healthier maybe than it's ever been in a long time. Is that safe to say?
Oh, man, it is. I mean, like the facilities that they have, and, like, I don't know if people, understand the Jacksonville Jaguar owner. He's a University of Illinois guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he remodeled a golf course down there. You talk about Jim Madison in Peoria. You know, there are people down there from the urban basketball complex. That place, there's a lot of money. And now that they're winning, it does matter. But what it's done is rejuvenate. It's helped with recruiting. You know, the facilities that they have. Everybody's going to brag about the facilities, and there are some really nice ones. The thing I like about what Josh Whitman has done is that he's a visionary. He's always looking ahead and what's the country going to look like, what it should look like. And I will say this part. One of the things that Illinois has that I've still to this day I've not heard any other university have it. You know, mental health is a big thing with a lot of kids, with a lot of people in today's world. It really is, whether you like it or not, it is. And when kids go away to college, sometimes you don't know what kids are dealing with. Illinois is the only Division I program, from my understanding, that has one for every major sport down there: women's basketball, men's basketball, football. Some schools, a lot of schools have them, but they share the same person. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's one of the things. And then the recovery facilities that they have down there is second to none. The Illinois strength and conditioning coach, Adam Fletcher, people who are listening to this show, Google him. I'm telling you right now, there are NBA guys that are begging him to leave Illinois. So yes, the money's there, but the facilities, and now they have the backing. And it's hard for a lot of people to see Illinois relevant, especially with this football situation. It really is different. I mean, Matt, they're ranked ninth in the country. I mean, just think about that. And this, that's happened in the past, but it was a one-year wonder. Illinois could lose all those kids next year. They may not win the Big Ten. They may not be ranked, but they won't finish last. They won't be everybody's homecoming game again.
We joke the 66-0 days are done. I mean, as long as Brett Bielema was there and doing what they're doing. Ked, the Kedric Prince State Farm Center has a nice ring to it. Do you got $100 million laying around?
I don't, but I will tell you this, and this is probably, I don't want to lose my credentials, but I will tell you, I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not a fan of the renaming of the stadium. I'm an old school guy, but I understand it.
But you know that they're not going to say it's going to be Memorial Stadium. Like, it's not going to be.
It is, but
go ahead.
Well, you know what? If you Google it, Geese comes up,
I get you.
And down there, and I'm not mad. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Me personally, I'm speaking my mind. I just like the old school, but I have adjusted to the State Farm Center, and the Memorial Stadium. Like I said, it makes sense to me. It really and truly does, and I'm not disappointed that they've done it by any stretch of the imagination. But I like it the way it was.
I want something named after you. I think the Kedric Prince, the KP State Farm Center. Come on now, that's got a nice little ring to it. Kedric Prince joining right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. What's that?
At $6 is all I have, man.
I don't know if that's
going to get enough for $6. I'll do it, baby.
All right. Well, I want to get into this game itself. Primetime game. If Illinois is to win, what has to happen, Ken? If we're talking on Sunday morning and Illinois won, you're going to tell me this happened. What do they have to do in order to be successful on Saturday night?
I'm going to repeat this 4,000 times in my sleep and only twice on your show. Offensive line has to show up. And I'll say it again. The offensive line has to show up. Luke Altmaier has been sacked 8 times. And I'm going to tell you, Duke gave the recipe for it. Western Michigan did it. And Indiana is more talented. You mark my words. If they don't protect him, don't want to see him get hurt. And what's really sad is that this offensive line coming into the season was what everybody was talking about. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to see a bunch of different packages. And I think what Duke did, they were really athletic, and they made it tough for Illinois. If they can protect Luke, and I will say this, the coaches did a really good job of making adjustments, because instead of Luke dropping back 5, 6, 7 steps, in the Duke game, it was 3 steps. He got rid of the ball. But if Indiana make adjustments, when you're making that cross route across the field, that can be really, really dangerous. That's my number one concern. They have to protect him, and you have to give him time to throw. He cannot run for his life. Think about it. 3 games, he's been sacked 8 times. That's not good.
Ken, I look at this Illinois defense, and they gave up nothing week 1. I think 3 points. They didn't give up anything last week. And take out the maybe Duke first half, they've been really, really good. And you got a Indiana team that scores at will, and 73 points last week. I know it was against Indiana State. How does Illinois slow down Indiana? I think that defense is really good. One of our guys, Matthew Bailey, back there in the secondary will probably have to have a big day as well. Do they need to stop Indiana? Do they need to slow them down? Defensively, what do they have to do to be successful on Saturday night?
They cannot let them throw the ball across the field. There's no way, if you allow them to just throw the ball and do what they want, Fernando Mendoza is going to just have a field day with them. You cannot allow that. I think you asked me the most important thing of the game. Offensive line, Illinois secondary to me is, I would say, number 2. Mm-hmm. I think Illinois with Gabe Yakis, I think he could get pressure. He leads the conference in sacks, but they cannot. And there was times even against Western Illinois, their secondary fell asleep. You cannot allow that because Indiana is going to score points, and I know Illinois can score points. And I know you didn't ask me, but I'm just rambling here. Third most important thing, Matt, they cannot fall asleep in the first half. They've not had a good first half to start the season yet, not against Western Illinois, not against Western Michigan, and not against Duke. You do that against Indiana, you're going to be down 24 points, and you can't do that to me. I mean, you can't do that if you expect to win. So, but I do think the secondary is important.
How do you protect against a slow start? You mentioned that was it's like you're literally reading my questions, but and I don't write questions down. We know better than that. But that was my next thought was how do you win the toss and do you take the ball first? Is there anything you do to ensure that you get out of this obviously bad habit of starting slow? Because you're right, you can't spot Indiana a couple touchdowns, you'll be in trouble.
I would pump the ball away still because Illinois. I'm not going to say anything about Indiana's coach. I don't know a lot about him except for the Google me statement. I will say this, Brett Beadle and his staff, I will take against anybody, not because I cover Illinois. They are masters at making adjustments the second half. That's why you think about what we're talking about. The first half, they start slow. Second half, they make adjustments. When they do get the when they do get the football, they have to score. You want to take the crowd out of the game, whether it's a field goal. You don't want to go 3 and out. You don't want to run the ball up the middle, run the 3, and then punt the ball. You want to be creative on offense because the fans are going to be rocking. There's going to be white power. It's going to look like a Penn State game, to be honest with you, from my understanding. You have to sustain drives. You cannot go 3 and out. I will say this. Indiana hasn't played anybody, so I don't think they've shown a lot of offense, and so you're going to see a lot of different wrinkles that Illinois is going to have to stop. But I also think Illinois is going to show Indiana a few different things that they haven't seen either.
Kedric Prince joining me now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We talked about if the main event is Indiana Illinois, I think the sub bout or the secondary bout is Cignetti versus Bielema. I mean, if you think about, I don't know what they do, and I'm not saying anything crazy is going to happen, but both coaches aren't shy, kid. They're not bashful. Do you know what I mean? Like I can see this again, or I can see I think there's a rivalry between Illinois and Indiana regardless, and now it's in football. I'm intrigued with those two coaches that have given two teams and two programs that didn't have a personality. They both instantly gave them a personality. Kind of talk about the coaching matchup because it can get a little funky. I can see it being kind of fun on Saturday night.
I do too. They're both. You know what? My son told me this a long time ago because I told Keelan, I'm like, dude, you're arrogant as hell. He was like, Dad, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's confidence.
There's a fine line between cocky and confident.
As long as you can channel it. And Brett is a master. I mean, he does his own social media account, I believe. He is really good at it. And the thing about Brett, though, he is extremely bright. He knows all the rules. So I feel bad for the officials because he's laid into some of them. And, of course, the Big Ten is just going to call you and say, I'm sorry, but Brett, you're right, but it doesn't change the outcome. But both guys downplayed it. I watched all the press conferences this week. Brett spoke really highly, of him, and he just said, hey, they're a good program. And they've turned it around. Illinois and Indiana are not doormats anymore. And I will say this, I'm probably more impressed with Indiana turning it around than Illinois. I really do. Illinois has had some history. They've had some really, really good coaches and a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, Indiana's had some, decent years. But to go to Indiana is just basketball. We all know that's like not disrespecting Notre Dame, but when you hear Notre Dame, I think of football.
Yep.
So I have to give this guy credit. Brett Bielema has put them on the map, and it's different. And no matter what, I will say this: people are saying if Illinois loses this game or Indiana loses this game, they're out of the college playoffs. I'm gonna tell you, there's more than that, because I just looked at the Indiana schedule. They go to Iowa next, and they go to Oregon. Those aren't easy. Illinois is going to have USC, then they have Purdue, but then they're going to have Ohio State. So winning this game is important, because I would be very surprised. I'm not going to say Indiana's going to do it, but I wouldn't bet money that they're going to go to Kinnick Stadium and to go to Oregon, and those aren't guaranteed wins, and they're back-to-back road games. So this game is huge.
Couple things, Ked. One, I will look at these two coaches, and Signetti's still being talked about everywhere else. Any job that comes about, like Signetti is kind of linked to. You don't hear that with Brett Bielema. Brett's at Illinois the buyout is humongous, and you can tell he's set his roots there until Kirk leaves, and then the home comes calling. But no, I'm kidding. So I think that's a big difference between the two, is that Signetti, he's done a great job, but it's still that feeling like he's remaking over Indiana and as a stepping stone to something. I don't know. And then I don't feel that with Bielema at all. And I'll say this too, as a college football guy that loves college football, it feels like, for me, if you're an Iowa fan, and some have accused me of being such, I want Indiana to win. It has nothing to do with Illinois. I'll tell you the truth. I want Illinois to win because of Matthew Bailey and Cole Rusk, and it's good for the show. But if Indiana wins, I love Iowa next week. If Indiana wins this week and they win a big emotional game at home, I will sign up for a letdown game at 2:30 next week at Kinnick Stadium. Like, sign me up. So I think it does have a role in that as well. I'm going to get your prediction, because I'm not going to keep you forever. But before I do, what does it look like for Kedric Prince on Saturday night? And let me explain, because I'll get so into Iowa games, Illinois, or Lions games. Like, those are the games that I get into the most. And I think I tell people all the time, the reason why I get into my Lions more than any of my other teams is because they never affected my work. If Iowa did well, it affected work. If Iowa football, I dealt with it. I had to go cover it. The Lions, I never have to deal with. Like, it's just my Lions. So there's times that, like, if it's a big game, I won't even want to eat. Like, my wife will be like, what are we going to get for the game to eat? And I'll be like, I'm good. But then if they win, I'm like, I'll eat everything in the house because I'm happy. So anyways, what does it look like on Saturday night? Do you watch it with anybody? Is Keelan and Kennedy at least allowed to watch it with you? How does it go for you? Tell me about Saturday night. And be honest.
Gosh, I told you, I'm not a liar. I have to always tell the truth. Watching a game with me is not fun. So I'll be brief, but I'll be direct. I am extremely, extremely competitive. So when I watch it with my parents, I can't cuss because my dad will get mad at me. And son, what's wrong with you? I raised you better than that. It's just a football game. And then my mom will get mad, and she'll start clapping her hands when they do good. And then I'm like, you don't know what's going on, Mom. That's not a good thing. Then if I'm watching it with my kids, Keelan gets mad because he has a son, so I can't say what I really want to say. Because as soon as I say something bad, what do you think a 2-year-old's going to say? Peepaw! Same thing.
Yep.
So the best thing for me to do is to watch it. But I would tell you the best person to me to watch an Illinois sporting event with is probably Kennedy. Kennedy it's weird because, she's a basketball girl and she's a golf girl. But I will tell you, I've watched basketball games with Illinois, and I'm going to send you a video, but you better not send it to anybody.
I won't.
Illinois was playing a basketball game. I was going to send it to Coach Underwood just because I wanted him to see it. They were messing up. She didn't know I was videotaping her, just going off. So we're competitive people, but I can at least bit with her. This Saturday, I don't want to be around anybody. I just don't, because something goes wrong. And then I have to do interviews afterwards. So I have, if they lose, I have to put on my happy fake face to be professional. But I'm really competitive, man. And I want to see them win because they deserve it.
Will you do a spread? Are you superstitious? Will you, Like, is it like, okay, if I get myself, this type of food, or what are you? I'm superstitious. It's less than it used to be, but I can be superstitious.
Oh man, I'm that way. I have to have the remotes a certain way. I have to have the same cup, or my hat. I have to wear, to be honest with you, we're talking Illinois athletics, but when I go to fishing tournaments, I bought a brand new hat. I'm a lose real kind of guy. I didn't catch any fish. As soon as I went back to my old fishing hat, I started catching fish. Yeah. So when Illinois plays Saturday, I'm going to make sure I have the right hat on. So Coach Bielema, I'm going to wear the right hat, and I hope it's going to work. But if it doesn't, you know what, so be it. I think they're still going to be relevant, and I just want it to be competitive. I will say this, though. I don't think Brett Bielema will embarrass Indiana, but I'm telling you, if Signetti gets an opportunity to put up a 50 on Illinois, he's going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if he will. I don't think that's possible. I will say this. So when I'm watching Lions games and Charlie will act like a jerk, get mad about something or a bad call or whatever, I'll get cranky and I'll be like, hey, knock it, try to be a parent, and my wife will just look at me and shake her head. I'm like, what? She's like, he's you. You can't yell at him. Yes. He's doing, where do you think you got it from? He's just you. I'm like, yeah, and all of them are like that, unfortunately. And then my mom, God bless her, the best thing about her sometimes was she can't watch when it gets nervous, when it gets tight and stuff, but she'll come in and she'll be like, oh, look, like it'll be a touchdown, and she'll start celebrating, and it's the replay. Like my mom does that. She's that lady. And I'm like, no, Mom, that was first quarter. That's halftime highlights. Like they didn't score. So
you gotta love them though, baby.
No, it's awesome. Give me a prediction.
I think Illinois loses by 10. I think the score will be either really low because the defenses are good or really high. I can't give you a score. I guess I could, but I see them losing by 10, man.
Do you really?
Just because they're at home. Indiana, that does matter. It does. But Illinois has done really, really well on the road. They have, and they come back. And I will say, if Illinois is leading with 8 minutes to go in the game, if they're leading, the game's over. Illinois will win.
I think it's one of those things they just – I'm sorry, Ken. They need to – like it's the old Rounders movie, hanging around. They just got to hang around. They just got to don't make it. Just get to halftime, grind, make big plays, get a turnover or two. Don't let. I think if you can sustain a punch early, I think you're going to get a punch early. The energy, the atmosphere, the night. I think if you can sustain and maybe be down 7-0 after the first quarter, or tied at the end of the first quarter, down 3 at the end of the first quarter, then game on. And I think it's going to be a really good football game. It survive that first punch. I think that Illinois can win this football game. Last one for you, I promise. So I had Jake Brend on today, my Cyclone expert, and I asked him this question, and I want to ask you the same one, because here I am in the Quad Cities, and Illinois football is really good. They're ranked 9th in the country, and it's different. We both admit it's something we're not used to. Iowa State's ranked 12th, and they've had some good years, but overall, that's different from me growing up and what it is. So I asked him, and I'll ask you, if Illinois and Iowa State played next weekend at Brady Street Stadium, who would win?
Illinois.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you what. We just talked about them surviving the punch. Matt, they're old, and so they're not going to be phased. Illinois has, I think they were 5-1, and come from behind wins. That's why I said to you, if the game they have the lead, they're veterans, man, and they know, and I will tell you this: watch them run their 2-minute offense. They run it like the NFL. No disrespect to Iowa State. I live in Illinois and I work in Iowa. I have a lot of Iowa State friends. And to be honest with you, that's probably my third or fourth favorite school. I kind of root for them. But I will say this. I think Illinois has a total package, and that's why they're ranked 9th. Everybody can see that. And Iowa State fans can't argue it because they're ranked higher, and there's a reason that they're ranked higher. So it would be a good game on a neutral field. And I'd kind of like to actually see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That's nice. That's a nice first-round playoff game, huh? What do you think?
I wouldn't. That would be. If you talk about getting to the playoffs, man, that would just really. I don't know. You talk about a dream come true for Illinois fans to get to that playoff, and that's everybody's goal. So I don't know. I'd be beside myself.
I think it's cool because for so long, college football was like it wasn't a possibility because it was a dumb system and you didn't have that chance. I think it's kind of like the NCAA tournament, getting in, obviously to a different level. I will say this: Jake Bren, the Iowa State guy said Iowa State, but he said he's just going to go with Rocco in a close game. Rocco backed, and I responded with Luke Altmaier, man, and he had a ton of respect for Luke Altmaier, and I'll leave you with this: I root for that dude because 2 years ago he was golfing at Highland Springs in my dad's golf outing, and that means something to me. I get it. I'm the Iowa pregame guy. I got my Hawkeye stuff here, but like people are people, and Matthew Bailey, Cole Rusk, Luke Altmaier, those guys that have come up and taken part in my stuff and shown me that kind of respect. I will be, and my kids are the same way. They know that Luke Altmaier was golfing at Grandpa Guy's golf outing, so that stuff is pretty cool as well. Ked, I wish I could watch it with you. I do, or like you should do a live stream and charge people to watch you watch the game.
Man, I would have no friends. My family would be embarrassed. They would tell me to change my last name. Hey. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family in Michigan too, man. They're big Lions fan and they're big Wolverine fans, just so you know. So I'm not doing it to my family. My dad, I respect my parents, but boy, he was. I'm not doing it, baby.
I love the fact that you still, I don't want to say fear dad, but like respect dad enough to know. Like that's fantastic. So
he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude.
I never met your dad.
He's nice, man. I'm like, he's just the nicest dude. Everybody's going to say that about their parents. My dad, like, we get older, you say things, and I'm thinking, I really shouldn't say that. And I just know and he's really, really wise. So I just respect him. And, and it's kind of funny because if he gets mad at Illinois athletics, he'll let me know. They'll call me, son, why'd they do this? Why'd they do that? But they don't miss a game either. My parents, they've been married for 60 years. They sit and watch every football and basketball game.
Yeah.
Even the women's, they really do. Yep.
You just said my dad is wise. Did you always think dad was wise?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't, Matt, because I was hard-headed and stubborn.
But that's what I always tell my kids, and I got good kids. You got good kids. But like, there's a certain time in life. This is way off of the subject, by the way. That like I know that for a few years, my kids might not like me because my job is unfortunately not to be your best friend. It's to be your dad, and I have to do that job first. That job's more important, and that's the way it was with me and my dad. Like there was probably a time that I was like annoyed by him and all those kind of things, and then unfortunately he's been gone for 13 years. But towards the end, especially like. I'd say the same thing you did. Damn, is he wise? I say to this day, like, damn, he was right. He's always right. You hear that? Yeah, he's always right. So that's a beautiful thing. So, we'll enjoy. Go get a win for Pops. That's what I want Illinois to win for your Pops. So, enjoy the weekend. I'll talk to you again real soon. And I always appreciate you doing this for me. Take care, my man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that is the one and only Kedric Prince talking Illinois football. Huge game Saturday night at Indiana. It's the Illini and the Hoosiers, and that's the beauty thing for me is Iowa is on Friday, so we'll be live from Big Grove Brewery with that Friday night. I get a Saturday where I can watch some high school or some college football, so I will be glued to the Illini and the Hoosiers come Saturday night. Unfortunately, Ked didn't invite me. I was waiting for him to invite me over, but I guess I didn't get the invite. So, anyways, we got more to get to right here. Coming up next, a really cool story. Last week, a Davenport North senior playing in his first high school football game shattered the record books. It's an amazing story. You got to listen to it. David Joyner from Davenport North will be with us right after this. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Thursday here in the Quad Cities.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Of course, high school football, week 4 of the season comes your way tomorrow night. But before we get fully into week number 4, I want to look back at week 3. Earlier in the week, we had an Orion duo that did a fantastic job on Friday night rewriting the record books. And there was a couple performances on the Iowa side of the river with Davenport North. Neil Brown, their quarterback, threw for 399 yards, school record, and 4 touchdowns. And a lot of them went to David Joyner, 8 receptions, 321 yards. That's a school record, 3 touchdowns as well. And above all that, it was his first high school football game. And David Joyner joins us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. First and foremost, young man, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you being on.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah. So we were just talking before we started, and I knew this, and I read this, but that was your first high school football game. Explain that to me.
Yeah, it was.
You're a senior. Explain this to me. Go ahead and explain how this all happens.
So I moved back from Georgia, and I played football down there in like 7th and 8th grade, but then I really took a liking to basketball. So I stopped playing football, and then around like the end of my sophomore year, we ended up moving back here to Georgia. Back to Iowa, and I was gonna play my junior year, but things were a little busy when I first got back, so I didn't end up playing my junior year. And then when I got the senior year, like at the beginning of this year, I was like, it's my senior year, so it's my last year of high school. I might as well just give it a shot. I came back, and turns out I was still really good at it.
No, you're very good at it. How does Coach Height find out about this? I mean, obviously, when people say and you hear it on all the schools, there's talent in the building, but they're just maybe not playing football. This talent in the building, young man, that wasn't playing. When did he find out, and how excited were the coaches to get you involved in football and with your athleticism and the things that you can do on the football field?
Coach Height was pretty excited. He tried to get me to come out my junior year. I was gonna come out, but I just, like I said, I didn't end up going out. So I don't think they really expected me to actually play this senior year. But when I came out, I went to a couple 7-on-7s. I did really good at those. So we were just really excited to get me into the season.
You mentioned maybe before we started that football, basketball was kind of the thing, and football wasn't as fun anymore. Maybe down in Georgia. Is football fun? When you got back to doing it, was it something where distance makes the heart grow fonder, where you hadn't played it and maybe loved it again? Talk about that love, because to play football, you got to love it. It's a hard sport. So talk about being back in the game maybe this season.
Absolutely. I came back the first time I went out onto the field back with all my friends that I grew up with and stuff. It just felt like home, really. It was an amazing experience coming back to the field after so long. It's I love it.
Yeah, so week 1 and 2 out with some injuries and a few things. You get back on the field last week on Friday night. Did you have expectations? And don't lie to me and tell me you expected 8 catches for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. What were your thought process when you went into the game itself?
Well, actually, before the game, I had a talk with Coach Height, and he was like, the record was set when he was there, and he wanted me to break it. But I didn't really grasp like how good 321 yards were. I thought a decent game for a wide receiver was about 175, like 200 yards.
It is.
So at the end of the game, I thought I had about 220 yards, and when Height told me that the record was only 205, I was like, oh, I definitely can go out. I think I can go out and beat that. But when the end of the game came, we were on the bus. I was sitting next to my quarterback, and we were saying, I thought I had about 220 yards. Coach Height came onto the bus. He said I had 321. I was pretty amazed.
Yeah, no. So maybe when you get out there and get going, getting that first catch, did you just have the confidence that you were going to have a great game, or what was your thought process going in and seeing is believing to get that first catch or 2 or 3? Did you get yourself into a groove from the start, obviously?
Absolutely. After that first catch, I had a lot of adrenaline in me. I was willing to do like whatever it took for us to win, whether I needed to block, whether I needed to catch the ball, whatever I needed to do. And that just turned out to be me catching it. So
take me through this connection with your quarterback, because Neil Brown is somebody that's new to the Davenport North School as well, transferred in from down south, I believe Alabama, recently. When did you meet him? And there's got to be a chemistry. You don't do this on by accident. So what's it been like building with him at Davenport North?
it's been amazing. I met him around last year at the end of my junior year. I'm actually at the lunch table sitting around a couple of other my friends that I grew up with that played football on the team. And like ever since then, it's really been like instantly it was it like clicked. I invited him over to my house. We played like video games together a lot. And our bond, we grew together as like players. That's really how he's really the reason that I started to take football like very seriously when I came back, and he's the one who helped me realize that I actually had like a real talent for it.
David Joyner joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, a young man from Davenport North, record-setting performance last week. When you look at that love for the game, kind of talk about that, because I don't want to say you weren't taking it serious to begin with, but you just mentioned, taking it serious again. Where does it go from here? And success breeds more success. How hungry are you? How good can you be?
Before I wasn't not taking it seriously, but I didn't like really understand how good I could be at this. And he really helped me. He really helped me. And then my cousin Trateris, he's also on the team. We grew up playing together. He was also telling me like I'm pretty good at this. And I started to realize Dub, well, we call him Dub, but Neil. He started like keeping me after practices, and we would just we'd go over routes. He'd help me understand football more, and I think my ceiling is very high.
Okay, so one game, and you already have 8 catches, 321 yards. What's the encore? And I know you don't think individual stats all the time. I get that it's a team game and all that kind of stuff, but do you readjust goals? Do you set new goals? What can happen this year, and how excited are you to continue this fantastic start to the season?
I'm very excited. My aunts, actually, my mom and my aunts, they've been like pushing me, and they've been setting like goals for me, to go on with throughout the season. And they told me that they wanted me to go out the first game and have at least 200 yards. And I was like, oh yeah, I think I can do that. And then I went and did this, so they're really upping the record a lot.
No, I absolutely love it. David Jordan joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So I want to talk about that team, because obviously a 2-1 start to the season, and I know the expectations for you guys before the season were high. A big game this week. Davenport Central, Brady Street Stadium. No love lost between the two schools, city rivalry. How do you guys approach a city big bragging rights game coming up on Friday?
Really, we just go into it not thinking about like oh, this is like this. These are people that grew up with all that. We look at this as like a regular game. A regular game. We prepare for it the same. We prepare for every game like every team is the best team we'll ever play. We play like we prepare pretty hardly the same every week.
What would it mean to, I know like there's still other games to be played and all those kind of things, but that city bragging rights thing is important. What would it mean to win that? And you mentioned knowing these guys. You all grow up together, run around together, all those kind of things. It's a fun rivalry. It can be a heated rivalry, but for the most part, it's a fun rivalry. What are these games like when it comes to during the week and in the building and with friends and all those kind of things?
It's a lot of adrenaline. It really feels like there's a lot of pressure in these games because everybody wants to do the best around the locals because you'll hear it the most from them. So everybody's like it means a lot.
How good can you this Davenport North team be? I know that you guys have a loss on the season, a setback that you kind of flush and forget about. You're healthy back once again. You're on the field. I know the expectations were high, and two guys that are new to the program, and yourself and Neil. How good can this team be, and what are the expectations you guys have for the rest of the season?
I know we can be great. Being with these guys since the summer, working out with them, and really seeing that the drive they had to make it to the UNI Dome. I have no doubt that we can be like a state contending team for sure.
David, before I let you go, I want to have some fun with you when it comes to a few fun questions. Do you have a pregame ritual? Do you have I don't want to say superstitious, but if you are, you can tell me. Is there anything you have to do before a game, or how do you get ready for a football game?
Really, I pray before every game. That's really it. I pray after we sing the national anthem. Me and my quarterback get on a knee together and we just pray.
That's a beautiful thing. Do you have a celebration meal, or if you want to take away from celebration, do you have a favorite food? What's the place you guys? Maybe it's a Thursday night after practice or a team meal or whatever. What's the pick to click for Davenport North when it comes to a place to eat, or yourself when it comes to some favorite food?
Probably Buffalo Wild Wings. That's where we go after wins. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay. What's the order? Are you blazing? Are you tough?
Yeah.
Or don't say it's like mild or anything like that.
Nah, I get lemon pepper wings. I usually get like a lemon pepper wings. So they have like a special where it's like you buy 10 wings, get 10 free. So that's usually what I get.
I love it. David Joyner joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. If you could have dinner, maybe Buffalo Wild Wings, with anybody in the world, basketball, football, non-sport, whatever. If you could have a meal with one person, who would it be and why?
I'd probably say that's a hard question. There's a lot of people. I'd probably say Kobe Bryant.
Okay. I like it. Why is that?
He's been like really my idol since I've been like a little kid. I've always like I tried to model my game after him. That's really who it's been since I've been little.
If you could play another sport, I know you do, and it may be an easy one, but if you're not doing football, what else are you doing? And is basketball that thing? Is basketball that love still?
Yeah, it's basketball.
Yeah, that was an easy one. All right, before I let you go, Adam Height, you mentioned him getting you to get back out there and playing the game you love. How important is that guy to this program? He's been around for a while. We talked to him before the season, and he kind of admitted, like, when it comes to Davenport coaches, the amount of time he's been there is a long time. What does he mean to that program? And maybe a step further, what does he mean to you with that big old smile on your face playing football once again? And you probably look back and think that's a heck of a good decision to do.
He means a lot to our program, and I feel like he means a lot to me. He really pushes me to be better, especially like giving me goals like during the games and stuff. He really pushes me to be better.
All right. The sequel this week. Give me some numbers. What do you expect? Give me a prediction. No predictions? You tell me.
Nah, no predictions.
No predictions. Well, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. I know that the rest of the Quad Cities is as well. Congratulations, David. Fantastic job. Keep catching touchdowns. Keep doing big things. Stay healthy. And hopefully we talk to you guys again in the near future. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, that is David Joyner, the outstanding new wide receiver, I guess, for the Davenport North Wildcats. Again, the numbers are awesome. 8 receptions, 321 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. That was his first high school football game. As a senior, I'm excited to see what the sequel is tomorrow night. Of course, it'll be Davenport Central and Davenport North at Brady Street Stadium. We got much more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thursday, September 18th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a fun Thursday. A programming note, tomorrow we're on the road once again. We're going to head over to Assumption High School. Assumption with a game against Davenport North. The Knights coming off the first win of the season. They're also celebrating their 20-year anniversary of their dome team. So Wade King, Coach Gilbreth, some players. We got Mobile Party Experience will be down there. We'll be grilling. We'll have the boys from View from the West on to preview the Illinois side of the river as well. A lot to get to on tomorrow's show. Should be a ton of fun. We'll do some college football picks, all those kind of things. So make sure you join us tomorrow, 10 a.m. For Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up this afternoon, the Big Ten will be announcing their basketball schedules for this year. So keep it locked on Twitter. Of course, here in the Quad Cities, we're always intrigued to see when Iowa and Illinois are playing. So see if they play once, see if they play twice, all those kind of things. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that, talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. Don't forget the Nest Gas contest is out and running in full swing. Make sure you get yourself signed up. Go to my social media, click on it. It's really quick, simple, free to do. Of course, each weekly winner gets a prize from Hungry Hobo. delicious food. And speaking of delicious food, and another great sponsor, I loved seeing this yesterday. I kind of wanted to talk about it. Godfathers is a great sponsor of View from the West podcast as well, along with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And one thing about Andy Furman and those guys over at Godfathers is they love local sports, flat out love it. And so one of the things they do with View from the West is they do the offensive line of the week. And this week it was Moline. So there's the pizza delivery over to Moline High School yesterday, so they could have a little pizza after practice. So I thought it was really cool, and I can't stress enough to people how involved Godfathers is with local sports right here in the Quad Cities. You see them, obviously a great sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, the View from the West as well. They do awesome stuff. Anytime we need something, they're there to help out. And also, besides all that, it's just absolutely delicious pizza. So hats off to my guy, Andy Furman and the Godfathers for doing what they do for local sports around the Quad Cities, and of course doing what they do for us here at Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, one of the great sponsors that we have of the show. So I'm excited for some news things next week. We'll kind of talk about that coming up, but another chapter, another era in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Haven't been doing it yet. Gosh, I'm trying to think how long we've done it. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So 9 months-ish. And we were really excited about the next step that we'll be talking about next week as well. A way to get out to even more people, which is really cool as well. So that is exciting. Gosh, I was just thinking it hasn't been a year since I left the TV station. So things are good, and we appreciate everyone for watching, however you watch, listen, reaching out. The support has been awesome, and we're having a ton of fun. And we're going to continue that tomorrow, as we mentioned, at Assumption with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on the road. And then tomorrow at 5 to 6, we'll be at Big Grove Brewery for the Hawkeye Tailgate Show on the Hawkeye Radio Network. So check that out as well. Tomorrow night, week 4 of the high school football season, we got you covered with View from the West Instant Reacts Pod, 10:15 on YouTube. If you're not subscribing to View from the West, what are you waiting for? It's a ton of fun. We break down all the scores and get you a few highlights and stats and coaching interviews and all those kind of things. It's a blast. And then probably after that, at some point, I'll be hopping on with Tom Kakert. We'll do a special edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo and chat a little bit about Iowa Rutgers tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time on Fox. And we'll kind of wrap things up from there. And then I might take a few days off. Like, I mean, maybe on Saturday and Sunday I won't do anything but watch my kids play sports and watch football. And then we'll rock and roll again next Monday as well. So I want to thank you guys for your patience today. A little bit of a later start, about a 5-minute late start. It was crazy. I was sitting here kind of writing some notes before the show, and all of a sudden everything just turned off. That's not a good feeling, if you're wondering. But we hop back on the wagon. We got it all figured out. Thank you to Andrew Lehman for joining us. He's on his way to an exec retreat for the John Deere Classic this weekend. Took the time to talk Cubs. Cubs are in the postseason. First time in 5 years, breaking a 5-year drought. Excited about that. Every Cub fan I talk to, yours truly included, wants the Brewers. I think that's cool. I think they want the Brewers as well, too. If you look at the grand scheme of things, obviously they're going to win the division. They played ridiculous baseball for 5-6 weeks of the season, and that's been the difference. And so I think the Cubs can hang, and it would be a fun thing to watch, Cubs Brewers, to start things off. We'll see how everything shakes out with that as well. We also talked Iowa football with Andrew Lehman. He's my roller coaster ride buddy when it comes to Iowa. But I think he's doing okay right now, and one of the biggest basketball fans you'll ever meet. So a reminder with that as well, Josh Sash will be on with us tomorrow for the Hawkeye Tailgate Show, live from Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City. So if you're up in the Iowa City area, basketball season, like we just mentioned, schedule's coming out here real soon. We'll talk to Josh about that tomorrow. It's an exciting time. So Iowa basketball season we talked with Andrew about. And then the Ryder Cup. It's next week. It's one of the best weeks of the year for golf, especially here in the States where it's at. It should be fantastic. And next week we'll be joined by our good friend Craig DeVries to kind of break down the Ryder Cup a little bit further as we get ready for that next week as well. Also want to thank Kedric Prince. It's the biggest game I can think of in Illinois football in a long, long time. Indiana, Illinois, primetime, Saturday night, NBC at Indiana. Ked has them losing by about 10. I know he hopes he's wrong. We'll see what happens. I have it being a close football game. In our next guest picks, I did pick Illinois. But I do think Illinois, if they hang in, if they can withstand, as I mentioned earlier, that first punch from Indiana and that emotional boost that Indiana's going to get as the game starts, if they can withstand that and not be down 14-0 or something like that, it should be a really good football game. And they have every reason to win that football game, or they can win that football game as well. And then also want to thank David Joyner, Davenport North, a standout, really amazing story. Moved to Georgia, 7th and 8th grade, played football down there, and then kind of focused on basketball. Moved back here his sophomore year, didn't play football last year, and then this year went out for football. Didn't play the first 2 games because of an injury, and then debuted on week 3 and had, I lost the stats, but I think it's 8 catches, 320 some yards, and 3 touchdowns, setting records all over the place. So really an intriguing, fun story. He did a fantastic job. So check out that interview as well. So again, thank you to the sponsors. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back live from Assumption High School tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on the road. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you guys tomorrow.